Back to Let's Play Higurashi Matsuribayashi. Just got a notification in the corner there. It's like, microphone is being used. Oh, no shit. It's been 2 days short of 2 weeks. I would have thought that it would have been 1 day short of 2 weeks, because I'm recording it much the same as last time. Like the day after uploading the previous part. I could have had the previous record session split into 4 parts easily, but I was like, nah, it'll just be 2 long videos instead. Right, so where I last left off, Rika's parents were murdered. But it was from Oishi's perspective, so we didn't really see how that went out. We just kind of got the, you know, basically Oishi guessing exactly what happened, except for he suspects the wrong people of it. And then there was Rena, you know, in the hospital, and she was all like going completely out of her mind. And then Hanyu, or Yoshiro-sama, shows up and starts apologizing, and for the only time in the series, it feels it actually had a positive impact. So, we can do this one now. This is probably gonna be Rena moving back, I guess. Hello, 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 good afternoon. Oh, who are you? We're speaking right now. That says hello, hello, good afternoon. Let's see what it actually says. Does it really say that? Hi, hi, hi. What? Konnichiwa, yeah. Don't you have something? It's basically that's right, what is it? Yeah, that's konnichiwa right there. That's good afternoon. So it's like, hi, hi, hi. Ara. Actually, one moment. Right. Forgot to close the door. I always do that. Record session, you know. Just like, yeah, whatever. Oh wait, what am I doing? I haven't switched it back to English. Oh wait, actually. Domo. Let's see. Okay, it's sorry, I guess. We just moved in next door. We're here to introduce ourselves. Pleased to meet you. Oh my, somebody as young as you moved here. I see, welcome. Wait. Who the hell is this then? I was like thinking, oh, you know, it's one of the villagers, probably an old person. Nope. I say welcome, Mum, our new neighbor is here to say hello. Who the hell's speaking? I don't know. Don't yell like that. Thank you for taking time to come over. They're the Ryuugu family. They just moved into the empty house next door. Ah, you're Reina-chan, aren't you? My, how you've grown. Yes, I'm Reina. Thank you for remembering. How? Mum, do you know her? Of course I do. You were living in Okuma then, so you probably don't remember. But they used to live next door. So you came back, huh? This village is better than the big city, is it? I don't remember much because I was so small when we lived here. But I feel this is where I belong. And you'll fit right in. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know. There's no need to hesitate. Being unreserved is the rule here, after all. Yes, thank you very much. I hate it when you can't tell who the hell's speaking. It's like, maybe those are just like, I was thinking, it's like, could it be like a character we know? Probably not. I thought I'd remembered things if I walked around the village, but I still don't remember much. I do recall, however, the vivid breeze as well as the brilliant greenery. I don't remember the village, but I remember that this is my hometown. You know, that's a weird thing. I mean, could you say hometown regardless of, like, where it is? If it's a village or a town or a city, you could be like, that's my hometown. I find that weird, like how like villages can be referred to as towns and shit like that. It's a bit odd. And then, I mean, I'd assume towns, would, generally be bigger than a village, even a big village. And then you look at video games, for example, where you're like, this is a city or a town, and it'd be like, fuck off, man, that's about the size of a village. It's like, yeah, well, we couldn't, go the open world route, we didn't have enough time to make it, it's detailed, and even then, it used to be a bunch of buildings you couldn't enter anyway, so what's the point? Red scars still remain on my body. They're hardly visible, and I can't even feel them. I'm sure they'll disappear soon. And I'm back in Hinamizawa, sometimes I wonder who I was back in Ibaraki. In fact, I think I wasn't myself from the moment I left. And now, by coming here, I've finally managed to finally regain my new self. I can hardly remember what I was like back in Ibaraki. Was it Ibaraki? Well, that's probably because of the red medicine. The medicine erased all of my painful memories. Maybe that was for the best. I just wanted to be forgiven back then. I couldn't forgive my mother, I couldn't forgive Uncle Akito, and more than anybody, I couldn't forgive myself. I wanted someone to acknowledge that I wasn't at fault. I wanted to be forgiven, so Yoshiro-sama apologized. She told me I wasn't at fault because it was the curse of Yoshiro-sama. Didn't specify that. That's how I was able to forgive myself. I didn't have to die by tearing my blood vessels out of my body. I mean, she just says sorry over and over again. To say, sorry, this is my fault, sorry, my bad. This is, a curse. But I don't think she'd refer to it as the curse. But it is, Hinamizawa syndrome. I think people have to die because they become corrupted. That's why people try their hardest not to dirty themselves all their lives. But I'm still living despite how dirty I am. I've been allowed to live. Is there still some filth left on me? Or am I all clean? I don't know. The only thing I know is that the me who lived in Ibaraki and the me who's here right now are two different people. I no longer feel the need to take responsibility by ripping myself apart because of the filth. And that's just the effects of the syndrome going down. After arranging some furniture and unpacking some boxes, we finally had dinner. Although I hardly remember Hinamizawa, my father remembers things very clearly. Maybe that's the father talking then. Although it was around when we lived here before, the Watanagashi festival has grown huge these days. It's held at the end of June. Watanagashi? I've never seen it myself, so I don't know too much about it. Supposedly, people let cotton absorb the filth on their bodies and drift it down the stream. Well, isn't that a fitting wording, considering Rena's thoughts there? Absorb the filth. You can wash your filth down the stream, huh? Of course, humans are sinners. As we live every day, filth piles up our bodies, supposedly. And once a year, we get rid of the filth by letting the cotton absorb it. Self-expecting to be like, humans are sinners, as we live every day. Filth piles up in our bodies, supposedly, if you're religious. It's like, people become burdened with filth and sin by doing something bad. Court sentences can settle your crimes legally, but that doesn't mean the burden of sin, of filth, will just go away. In other words, human hands can't erase human filth in this human world. And then all the other creatures of the world are like, hey, it's our world too, you assholes. Filth is something humans can't get rid of, and that's why we need a god from a different world to do that. That's what I thought. But I'm surprised to learn about watanagashi. Human hands erasing human filth in the human world, letting the cotton absorb the filth and drifting it down the stream. That means it's okay to live in this world. I tried to commit suicide because I couldn't forgive myself. Yoshiro-sama apologized to me and told me to come back to Hinamizawa. And now, here in Hinamizawa, there's this watanagashi, a ceremony to get rid of filth. This isn't just a coincidence. Hinamizawa is a place to wash away your filth. It forgives sins. It is a place of forgiveness. It's called a purification ceremony. I've heard of those before. Japanese culture is very strict about filth. You aren't allowed to remain in the spotlight if you accumulate too much. See, that's the reason why politicians and company presidents resign immediately once people find out about their dirty deeds. You must leave the spotlight if you're filthy. To put it in a bad way, the filth is basically pushed onto someone else and they are held responsible for it. I imagine, it's like, the Japanese, they go into a building, take the shoes off immediately. It's like, generally, I do that as well. Because, what's the point of having your shoes on while they're indoors? But it's a lot more like, you gotta do that rather than, you could just, just popped into the house. As you walk from one room to the next, still wearing shoes because you're just gonna be leaving in a second anyway. So you're just checking in on someone. You're just yeah. Okay, I'm going now. Alright, I stepped in some dog shit on the way. Hope you don't mind it on your floor there. It reminds me of, I can't remember. I'm not sure if I ever saw the anime in its entirety or just saw bits, clips. Azumanga Daioh. There was one scene where Osaka, I think that this one character was asking the teacher about people in the West. It's what if they step in dog poo and they they don't take their shoes off, and when they get, if you step in dog shit, you're not going to frickin' just walk into your house with it. You're going to try to get that shit off first thing before you even step foot in the door. Sins and filth must be removed. That's why people push them onto someone else and then try to get rid of the filth by sacrificing that person. If that's the case, every time that filth is created, people will try to pass around responsibility for it. That's awfully hideous. It's almost like seeing demons in the human world. That's why they came up with the idea of letting the cotton absorb all the filth. By doing so, people can live without making someone else take on all the responsibility. Sins and filth. Putting everyone's sins onto someone and then killing that person makes that person a sacrifice. Who wants to be a sacrifice? That's why they desperately push their sins around. Purification ceremony is about replacing the human sacrifice with a non-human one. Purification ceremony dramatically changed Japanese culture. For then, people always believed someone had to become a sacrifice. What? Yes, oh no, we must appease the gods, you look like you want to be sacrificed. No, sacrifice him now. In other words, even with filth, everyone can live without blaming someone else. And it's always you always hear sacrifice back in ye olden times. There's always we gotta sacrifice a virgin. She's why? It's because, I don't know, I can't quite explain. We have our own logic, right? It's maybe something to do with the virgin is pure, and if we sacrifice what is pure, that somehow appeases the gods. I don't know. This is all kind of crazy bollocks. In other words, even with filth, everyone can live without blaming someone else. Filth can be forgiven by a method other than death. Only an existence higher than humans can forgive them. I was forgiven by Oyashiro Summer and came back to this place. While the watanagashi, the purification ceremony that exists here. Letting cotton absorb the filth and drifting it away. There's no need for a sacrifice. That's why I've been allowed to live. The filth in me has drifted away, so the me that remains is no longer Reina Ryuugu. Yeah, this is where she goes by Rena instead, isn't it? But one thing you kind of, think about here. They're shoving all this shit in the water, having it drift away. You're polluting the place, man. You damn cotton. If I'm not Reina, then who am I? If I'm without filth, without all the icky things, who am I? A name vaguely appeared in my head. My new name. That only removes one of the letters from Reina, but I think it's a cute name. All the icky things are erased and forgiven with the removal of that one letter. It literally is, isn't it? Although, you'd be that's an I. No, in Japanese it'd be E, that's how it's pronounced there. So my name is no longer Reina. My name is Higurashi when they cry Kai. Interesting name choice there. Right, so Rena has entered the building, or the plot, rather. What do we need for this one? No. Fourth year's curse. No, we haven't got a fourth year yet. That was Satoko's aunt, wasn't it? Still got ways to go. Yeah, we got that one. New winds. God damn it, I can never tell whose freaking perspective it is at first. Who's talking? Okay, I'll get going, thank you, don't mention it. Come back anytime, okay? Who the fuck are you? Now it's Mion. Oh, hey, Uncle Hiroshi. Long time no see. Hey, Mion-chan, are you going home? I have to give my clients a ride. Alright, you're talking about your realtor business, huh? The Hinamizawa family is one of the largest landowners here in the Hinamizawa area. The way he's seeing things from her uncle's perspective for whatever reason, is there another character? However, since all the land is out here in the countryside, it just ends up sitting there. Recently, the land owned by the Hinamizawa family was put on sale in lots. At the family meeting, some of our relatives opposed the idea by saying we shouldn't sell off land that was handed down from our ancestors. But Granny snapped and shut them right up. Some of the unused lands are made into vacant lots and released for public sale. Actually, I had some question about it too. Is this gonna lead to the Keiichi one? It can't be. We haven't even got through the fourth year one yet. So Hinamizawa family is very wealthy. We have plenty of land as well as money. So why did we have to sell it off? What's more surprised me is that Granny was the one who came up with the idea. I would have thought that she'd get furious if someone even mentioned something like that. You know what? It was quite a few lines ago, but God, it's bugging me now. Some of the unused lands were made into vacant reach for pumps. Yeah, I did read that then. Okay, if you're ever near the station, be sure to stop by. I'll treat you to a cup of barley tea. Sure, thank you very much. So, how's the business going? I'm surprised there are actually city folks who are interested. It must be those rich types, whatever, who live in the big city yet also want a house in the countryside. Well, I guess some people are curious. There's one family seeking to move here and not purchase a villa. He said he wants to build a studio, so he must be an artist of some sort. Oh, that's great. Oh gosh, I better go now. Supposedly he planned a tour to show them the lots, and he's the one driving the bus. Would be about time for the tour and explanations to end. He left in a hurry. Hey, can I ask you something? Why did you want to sell a land? You don't like newcomers. I don't like newcomers, and I don't like big city people either. But the village needs them. It's like ventilating a room. Is it good for the village to have new people move in? It's a wonderful village, but the world is changing quickly. The past very small change took 10 or even 20 years to happen. With such a quiet and unchanging village. Well, that's rural life. In this village, nothing is different from yesterday and today. It's too boring for me, though. But you made a friend, didn't you? Rena Ryuugu-chan moved here and you get along great. Told me you were happy that you had a friend your age. Yeah, making friends unexpectedly is fun. I remember you saying that school is boring when Rena-chan is absent. Do you remember that? Are you saying that's the good thing about letting new people move here? No matter how cold it gets, you still have to ventilate your living room. Otherwise it gets filled with bad air and you'll suffocate to death. You open the window even knowing the freezing cold air will come in. And you know, there's another point to be made here. You know, if they didn't let new people into the village, then they'd all become completely inbred. Then outsiders move here is like ventilating the village. Sure, it lets fresh air in and gets rid of bad air like us. If I bring up the Hojo family, I know Granny will explode, so I won't. But I think that what Granny is trying to say includes things like their ongoing isolation. Even now when she remembers about what happened at that explanatory meeting, she gets really upset. I guess even she feels that needs to come to an end. But of course she can't just say she'll forgive them, not when she's at this stubborn age. She can't lose face by openly saying they need to be forgiven. Honestly, I think she's behaving like a little schoolgirl who actually likes a person but treats them rudely when they're around. So, kind of similar to Mion in a way, the way she acts to Keiichi sometimes. Maybe people really do go back to being children when they get old enough. Well, it kind of reverts, isn't it? When you're a baby, you're shitting all over yourself and all that. You get old enough and you're doing the exact same thing again. If you live to that point anyway, you'd have to be pretty damn old for that. Well, I don't know. Well, whatever. I'm not just talking about Granny. The same can be said about all of the old people in the village. They're all wearing incompetent pants or whatever the fuck they're called. No, maybe I should say the evil around here. That must be what she meant by bad air. There's no use circulating the air in a closed room. Unless you open the windows and let fresh air in, the air in the room won't be purified. I find it interesting is we're seeing this from Mion's uncle's perspective, and even he is pretty much acknowledging that it's clear that Oreo wants to, let the past be the past and be like, okay, the Hojos, treat them normal now or whatever, because they're not, the ones that, who pissed her off are dead now, it's just, their other relatives, like the uncle and the aunt are still there, but, just like, yeah, whatever, treat them however, and Satoshi and Sadoko as well. But she doesn't want to, say that because she's like, no, it'll make me look weak. We don't know if there's actually going to be people moving here, but don't you think you're expecting too much from whoever does? Just Rena changing here, change you, Mion. Whoever moves here will change this village. If possible, I hope some young and energetic people who have the charisma to lead will appear. They need to be the ones to put us old people away into heaven. The way he said, it's like, yeah, he was going along with that. It's like, yeah, that's Keiichi, he fits that description. And then he just goes, put the old people away into heaven. What does he expect? Some charismatic person to be like, okay, and just commits genocide on the elderly of the village? Is like, yeah, not that kind of person, no. Are you thinking about Gramps? Damn you, nobody's thinking about him. Here, have the housekeeper put away the tea set on the veranda. Okay, I will. Mion. The day Hojo Satoshi disappeared. What, he's already disappeared? You came to me, huh? Yeah, I guess I did. That is what woke me up. This problem with the Hojo family. We can't just let time take care of it. We have to take care of it ourselves as soon as possible. So, if that's the case, then the aunt is dead, the uncle's pissed off, and it's just Sadoko then? Maybe? But you can't do it yourself, so you're gonna have an outsider take care of it. That's the best I can do. No matter how bad your hand is, the next card can change the flow of the game. So maybe it's a good idea to draw cards from the stack. Your generation will be a new wind. Let that new wind come from the outside. and you'll be the wind from the inside. When both winds create a gale, the gusts will blow away the stale air from the village. That's the optimum of leaving your problem solvers. You're the one who started the fire, and you're trying to have your grandchild take care of it. It's like, that pretty much seems like every single generation. Oh man, we should really address this problem. Fuck it, leave it to the next generation that comes to them. It's like, these bastards. Well, we're not going to do anything about it. You have it. It's like, you bastards. And it's just a constant state of, well, you didn't do anything about it. Your generation didn't do anything about it. Your generation didn't do about it. My generation didn't do anything about it. Next generation ain't gonna do anything about it. Until it gets to a point where it's like, well, fuck, we can't fucking do anything about it. And it's not out of pure laziness this time. Oh, don't say that. As the new leader of the Sonozaki family, bring the new wind into the village. You say that's my job as your successor. Please, Mion. I'm too old. The only thing I can do now is to be despised by people. Wait, did we change to Orio's perspective, perhaps? She was talking to her uncle at first, right? The wind chimes sounded quietly. I mean, it's so hard to tell what character is speaking when, like, there's potentially, like, in the middle of the scene, switch from the uncle. I mean, he was in a hurry, so he probably bugged off. I don't know, I'm confused. Who's talking in the scene? I know Mion's there, but it's seeming like it's probably Oreo. Maybe that's a sign to let us know a cool breeze is on the way. Oh well. Oreo became a man for that scene then. And if I had to do Oreo's voice to the voice I give to her throughout, I'd be like, I need a drink.